The judge this year is Karina Griffiths, who, as Karina Smith, was twice a winner of this event in 1978 and 1980. Well, I managed to have a word with her just before the event started, and I suggested that there was just a hint of showmanship about this year's competition.
Yes, well, we decided on a theme for this year's Crufts, so we've got the first day all pink for the girls, for the bitches, and tomorrow it's all blue for the boys.
Show me this object that they've got to retrieve.
Well, it's a teddy.
Very smart.
Made by one of my pupils, every single one, so she's made 30 teddies for today.
What's going to happen to them afterwards?
The competitor's going to get one just as a little memento of Crufts 89.
Oh, that's a nice touch. Thanks very much. And the theme is continued with a pink flowered hat, one of 4 making the area for the dogs to go to in the send away. And the first pair that we're going to look at is Beryl Kelsall with her obedience champion Limewell Villa.
Now, this one is a 7.5-year-old bitch. It is her 6th time at Crufts, and she usually does very well indeed. This pair come from Stockport in Cheshire. And a very good send away with a very quick drop.
Now, of course, Villa has to stay there until she's recalled by Beryl Kelsall. You'll hear the voice of the ring steward. He gives all the instructions to the handler so that the handler does precisely what the judge intends. And as you said, Muriel, a pretty good send away. They lost just half a point.
Thank you, Dave.
Now, the false start by obedience champion Glentan Jip of Katana didn't actually count because the exercise hadn't officially begun. A lucky break there for both the dog and for owner Carol Robson.
That's quite right, Peter. And this is an 8-year-old dog, her 2nd time at Crufts, and Carol also has another dog competing here today.
Well, she'll hope that the other one performs as well as this one. That was a lovely drop, right in the centre of the box.
Should be full marks, I feel.
Right turn. Right turn.
With that tail wagging, that's the secret. You can see that the dogs enjoy it, and in fact just half a point like the previous competitor. Altered Image of Ruscath goes next with Catherine Russell.
Well, this is a new breed for Kathy. She won here in 1981 with a German Shepherd dog called Rinterlock Gingham.
Forward towards the box.
She's also obviously trained this dog to a very high standard.
They all look so alert in there. I expected these hats to cause a little bit of a distraction, but they haven't done.
No, not at all.
Call your dog. Right turn. Right turn.
Well, this was another good exercise, and it seems that half points lost was the order of the day because that's what they lost as well.
Hold.
Now, the longest exercise in the C-Class obedience competition is the heel work, requiring total concentration, and Karina Griffiths required them to work for almost 8 minutes in the exercise here. This is obedience champion Zigdan Zodiac with Ian Watts. They set the standard, 2.5 points lost, and actually led on this event. But here's an interesting pair, a Doberman, Lady Gessler of Bryan with Paul Gavin.
Well, this is the first time for 20 years that one of this breed have qualified.
Double about turn.
Now, this double about turn is a very controversial manoeuvre, which I personally would not put in a competition, because it does favour the smaller breeds.
Double about turn.
And they probably heard the instruction to do it again. Another double about turn. In fact, this pairing lost 11 points altogether, but it was really nice to see the Doberman in the ring. This is last year's winner, obedience champion Pajawi Crystal Gale with Sylvia Bishop, very well-known figure in the ring.
Well, I believe that Cindy was a rescue dog, and she was certainly very nervous a few years ago, and none of us felt that Sylvia would ever make this one up. But she has proved what a marvellous trainer she is by not only making her up, but she, as you said, was last year's winner.
And this year they lost just 4.5 points. Very good, as we look at obedience champion Darlodge Fen with Linda White.
And Dizzy, as she is known, is 10 years old. It is her 4th time at Crufts, and her best effort was coming 4th in 1987. A nice, steady little bitch, happy, tail wagging, eager to please.
This awkward manoeuvre round a marked area of the arena, as you can see there. The dog having to tuck in really close. Different paces. That was a good exercise. They lost just 3 points and were lying third at this stage. As we move on now to my favourite exercise, distant control. Now you'll hear in this the ring steward call a number, and Viv White, who is the handler here, will call the corresponding command to obedience champion Kingsley Golden Lass.
2. 3.
Well, I have always found this a most difficult exercise to teach. It takes a long time to do and a great deal of patience. Holly here is 7.5 years old. It is her 3rd time at Crufts, and she was 4th last year.
And has gone clear this year. Ian Watts again with obedience champion Zigdan Zodiac.
And Maggie is now 9.5 years old. This is her 5th time at Crufts. She is a very steady worker and has won many prizes over the years.
It's really nice to see that blue merle colour in the ring.
It's unusual, Peter, yes.
And another perfect exercise there. They went clear as well. This is obedience champion Glentan Jip of Katana again with Carol Robson. Interesting technique. It's more unusual, this Muriel.
Well, in this exercise, Peter, handlers have a choice. They can either use a hand signal or a command.
And in fact, isn't she using a command and a hand signal there?
No, you see, you are entitled to use the dog's name with a command or the dog's name with a signal.
I see. So that was an excellent exercise so far. As Carol Robson goes back to join Glentan Jip. Absolutely clear and full marks. So now we'll get another look at the retrieve object, because it's time for Teddy. Now, it might be a difficult object here. It's quite big, it's soft. It'll be interesting to see how the dogs cope with it. First to go that we're seeing Jamina Wimpy's special with owner-handler Mrs. Philomena Jeffries.
And Wimpy comes from Birmingham. She's 6 years old. This is her 1st time at Crufts, but she doesn't appear to be a bit overawed by the occasion. Going out there very nicely, a clean pickup.
Very fast pickup as well. I think she mouthed it a little bit,
A little
trying
there,
to adjust
yes.
the position.
That's right.
Finish.
Nicely positioned again. Happy little dog. Cost them 1 point only, so a good exercise. As we move on to obedience champion Tricklin Echo of Great Meadows, a great favourite here, been to Crufts many times, with Mrs. Pat Beaton, who of course was last year's judge, so she'll be expecting to do well.
Well, Echo is the oldest dog in the competition. She is 11 years old next week, and this is probably the last time we shall see her working at Crufts.
And what a shame. She really threw the toy Teddy around the ring a bit, so she won't score very well here.
But she enjoyed it, Peter.
Finish.
She's certain to get a great round of applause when the exercise is finished. As I've said, a great favourite. Back now to Darlodge Fen with Linda White.
And Dizzy here is now almost 10 years old. This is her 4th time at Crufts, and her best effort was coming 4th in '87. Nice, steady retrieve. I don't think she'll lose any marks.
But as we suspected, it was a difficult object, and it was a very tough competition, the retrieve. This was the only pairing to go clear. All the animals have to perform 2 stays, a 2-minute sit and a 10-minute down with the handlers out of sight. Jamina Wimpy's special was a real individual in this and decided to turn her back on the whole proceedings, losing 31 points. And from lying 6th overall, she's now right out of it. So after 6 events, we have 3 joint leaders, Zigdan Zodiac, Glentan Jip and Darlodge Fen, each losing 3.5 points. Altered Image has lost 5, Limewell Villa 5.5. And these are the dogs in contention as we move to the final test, the scent discrimination, where the dogs have to find a particular cloth from a preset pattern. There are 2 identical cloths scented by the judge. One is placed in the pattern, and we're going to highlight that for you. One is given to the handler for the dog to recognise. And to make things more difficult, there are also 2 decoy cloths in the pattern. This is joint leader Zigdan Zodiac with Ian Watts.
Well, I'm sure Maggie is raising a lot of hopes today. Oh dear, that is the decoy, and she could lose as much as 50 marks on this exercise.
Well, she hasn't presented it to her owner, but it's obviously wrong. She certainly have lost quite a few points there. Difficult pattern. It's actually in the shape of an E. E for Ellie. Ellie being the name of Karina Griffith's champion in 1978 and 1980. That's actually the right cloth, so it's probably too late.
Yes, a very messy scent.
Finish.
And Karina Griffiths decided 6 points lost on that, which was enough to put them well out of contention. So Limewell Villa, who was lying fifth, has every chance of going into the lead here with Beryl Kelsall.
Well, Villa is usually very steady on this exercise. She is slow and methodical, which is the type of dog I like to work myself.
Very systematic.
Very indeed, yes. That's the right one. Well done.
Take it. Finish.
The exercise isn't finished until they're in position there, that's it. And very little to find fault with. Half a point gone. They take the lead as we move on to Glentan Jip of Katana with Carol Robson again. Joint first before this.
Well, I'm sure Carol is feeling very tense at this stage because Jip failed this exercise last year. Oh dear, he's going to fail again now. What a shame.
Take it.
And look at Carol Robson's face. Can lightning strike twice? Yes, it can. It's the wrong one again. 50 points gone. So, Altered Image of Ruscath now has a very good chance also of going into the lead with Catherine Russell.
Yes, and I'm sure Kathy is very pleased with the way Lainey has gone today. A little bit anxious, perhaps, being her first time at Crufts.
They can't afford to lose much. Half a point. If they lose that, they go into the lead. That's a wrong one, and that's certainly the half gone, at least.
That was the pickup on the decoy.
So they probably haven't gone into the lead, leaving Limewell Villa still leading.
But that's right. Great relief for Kathy.
Finish.
1.5 points was the score against. So they're in second place at this stage. Only one can win it now other than Limewell Villa, and that is Darlodge Fenn and Linda White. But they've got quite a lot of leeway, 3 points, so they only need to do this fairly well.
Well, Dizzy has won a lot of competitions this year. I don't think she fails scent very often. One of the dogs that starts at the top, but it doesn't matter as long as she gets the right one.
Poor Linda White's had a long time to wait.
That's the right one. Well done.
Take it.
It's a good present. She's not going to have lost 3. No way could she have. Just half a point signals Karina Griffiths. So that means that Darlodge Fenn wins the competition here this year, with Limewell Villa in second place, Altered Image in third. Congratulations, Linda. And Dizzy, fourth before, 2 years ago.
Yes,
Now the big one.
yes, absolutely.
You must be thrilled.
I am chuffed to bits.
Now, you went number 25. That's fairly
Yeah.
late, and you saw all the others making an absolute hash of that scent. Did it look difficult to you?
Well, it did when I saw my 2 friends bring in the wrong one, yes, it was a bit nerve-wracking.
So you had confidence in her?
Well, never have that much confidence till the end.
You must be delighted.
Yes, thrilled to bits.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.